Many Singaporeans are aware that food waste is a problem here. But what may surprise many is that not all of it comes from leftovers. A large chunk of the food waste occurs even before it reaches the consumer. This can be food that's rejected due to quality control or discarded because it's too near the expiry date to be sold in supermarkets. For Travin Singh, it represented a huge waste of potential.
What we're trying our best to do is to come up with as many solutions revolving around surplus food. So we started out as a brewing company, then we shifted into a food tech company. So instead of just having beer as our product and bread, the only byproduct that we use, we have expanded into like rice, tea, coffee, fruits, vegetable, cacao husk, and now we have Crust, which is the alcohol brand, and then Crop is our non-alcohol brand.
For Travin, who was a regular in the Navy and then a financial advisor, moving into food technology was a step out of his comfort zone.
How I started, honestly, just started out over YouTube, in terms of Crust, learning how to brew beers and all that stuff. I did a bit of research, found out that the preservation of bread is one of the oldest form of making beer, right? So I tried a couple of batches at home, failed quite miserably. All my friends didn't like it, even I didn't like it. But then, did a bit more research.
One of their first tie-ups was with Tiong Bahru Bakery.
They were actually the first B2B company that we did a beer for. So we are using the surplus baguette, hence the name of the beer is called Beerget. We collect their surplus baguette, then we convert it into a beer for them.
For a startup, keeping costs down is key, and Crust does this by not owning a physical store and tapping on existing brewery to brew their beverages. Crust beer prices range from $6 to $8.50 per bottle and is comparable to other local craft beers. For back-end research and technical facilities, they collaborated with the Bright Science Hub facility, set up by Dutch health and nutrition company DSM.
If you think of startups, there's a lot of effort that also needs to go in terms of collaborating with them, whether it's prototype development, whether it's idea generation, proof of concept scale-up, testing, regulatory support, and further into commercialization. So where we really thought this innovation hub could play a role is actually to incubate as well as to develop a wide host of technologies working with startups and with small and medium enterprises.
Travin says that R&D is key to the growth of his company, and he's very thankful for DSM's support. His lofty ambition is to help reduce global food waste by 1% by 2030.
We are constantly doing R&D on different kinds of wastage just to see what we can convert it into. We're not going to stick within the beverage industry. We want to expand our portfolio into the food side and eventually packaging. We want to do a lot more, but one step at a time. We are quite adamant about proving that there are better ways to do things.
DSM says startups like Crust are key to tackling the world's food waste problem.
Food waste in many ways is an unseen or hidden problem because we really don't realize the amount of food, healthy food, which gets wasted and thrown into landfills. And that has a big socioeconomic impact. Impact in the terms of the greenhouse gases that go into production and distribution of it. But then the food waste then gets put into a landfill that leads to the creation of methane, which is 21 times more potent in terms of greenhouse gas emissions than even carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide that we think about.
Stakeholders say that startups play a key role as Singapore aims for its 30 by 30 goal, the target of producing 30% of its nutritional needs locally by 2030. Singapore can also position itself as a sustainable technology hub in the Asia-Pacific.
Whether it's population growth in terms of our use of resources, sustainable development and innovation to create that, whether it's in food security, is going to be extremely critical. Because if you look in the 21st century, it's a known fact that Asia-Pacific is going to be the driver of growth. For that driver of growth to be sustainable is in the best interest of all of mankind and humanity.
Crust has just successfully launched their Pilsner and Lager in Japan using surplus bread and rice. They have also raised nearly 280,000 yen via Japanese crowdfunding site Makuake.